Ďakujem pekne. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs. I'm really pleased to be able to spend some time with you to discuss this important for Slovakia topic, the Eastern Partnership. And the timing of this conference is it couldn't be better, as a matter of fact. We have 5 weeks to go to the Vilniuse summit. I'm just back from Luxembourg, where we had the Foreign Affairs Council yesterday, where Eastern Partnership was on the agenda. So let me share with you, well, our views, my thoughts, and also some fresh information from the yesterday's discussions in Luxembourg. Let me start by saying that the Eastern Partnership project and also the countries which are part of the Eastern Partnerships have been the long-term priorities for the Slovak foreign policies. We dedicate lots of our time and energy to this project. I managed to visit this year Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Moldova, and I also managed to see all 6 foreign ministers of the Eastern Partnership countries in the last 4 weeks. I saw 4 of them in New York on the margins of the UN General Assembly. We had the Moldovan foreign minister here last week and the Georgian foreign minister the week before last. Also, prior to the Foreign Affairs Council, before our meeting started, I organized an informal meeting with the Ukrainian foreign minister Kozhara within the format of the Friends of Ukraine and yesterday, and I think it was a good idea to offer my colleagues, to offer Minister Kozhara the chance to present the results and the efforts the Ukraine is undertaking in the preparation for the summit, and to hear from him, and of course to offer for my colleagues the chance to ask questions. So it was a very helpful meeting prior to discussing the Eastern Partnership within the Foreign Affairs Council agenda. Let me also say that despite the economic problems and financial problems, budgetary problems we are all facing, and this ministry is no exception, we've decided and we are to open 2 embassies in the countries of Eastern Partnership. I've already opened our embassy in Chisinau, and we are about to open to send our ambassador to Tbilisi. So as a result, we'll be present in 4 out of 6 countries of the Eastern Partnership, which will, I believe, increase our leverage and our role in these countries. What are our expectations from the Vilnius summit? It's going to be a very important summit because, first of all, we expect important decisions to be made, but what is even more important is that Vilnius summit should be the summit that would confirm the long-term sustainability of the Eastern Partnership project. And that's really very important, and that's why we want Vilnius summit to be a success. It should be a landmark meeting for the whole project of the Eastern Partnership. One of the important things when we speak about Eastern Partnership is that should be the project for the entire European Union, should not be an issue that is being discussed by half of the European Union. We must not forget that Eastern Partnership is the part of the European neighborhood policy. That means the success of Eastern Partnership means the success of the European neighborhood policy, and as such, it's also a successful contribution to the European common foreign and security policy. And for those who are pessimistic about this project, I want to draw their attention to the fact that we've only launched this project 4 years ago, and when we look at the efforts undertaken particularly by the governments of Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, when we see the reforms that have already been implemented or are being implemented, we see how much this project is a motivation for them and how much the European EU's famous soft power works in this case. And I'm not only speaking about internal developments only and not about bilateral dialogue between the European Union and these countries only, but there has been credible progress also in the multilateral dimension of the Eastern Partnership. Sectoral cooperation has been moving forward visibly, and last but not least, the trade exchange between these countries and the European Union has doubled since the project was launched. So all these are the facts and figures that speak for themselves. It's clear that the progress has been uneven, and it's also clear that we have to reflect upon this in our future activities. So it's not only the famous more for more principle, but also the need to differentiate in our approach and in our instruments we are using in communication with individual countries of the Eastern Partnership project. But still, Vilnius should be a place where the countries that have achieved the biggest progress will be rewarded for that progress. In what it means in practical terms, we expect Ukraine to sign the association agreement and DCFTA, and we expect Georgia and Moldova to initial association agreement DCFTA. And we also expect very soon after Vilnius EU to start provisional implementation or provisional application of the association agreement with Ukraine, and we believe that it's realistic to conclude the technical procedure so that the full signing of these agreements with Georgia and Moldova will be possible within the mandate of the current European Commission, so that the process of reforms in those countries is not hindered by the EU's internal political calendar. The association agreements and DCFTAs are, of course, the most complex and comprehensive agreements that the EU has ever signed with their partners who are not EU members. So more complex agreements are only the accession treaties. And it happened to be me who initialed the association agreement with Ukraine in my previous capacity, and so I really want to see the progress since my departure from the External Action Service. We expect that these agreements will open new possibilities for our economic cooperation, will open new space for growth and for the modernization in those countries. You know, and I have said this many times, that the Eastern Partnership program is an open-ended policy. That means European Union offers political association, economic integration, visa liberalization. At the same time, it does not promises membership, but it does not exclude it either. It's an open-ended program, and I've said many times, and I do believe, and I say that the end game of this project will depend on the effort and commitment demonstrated by our partners. Speaking about Ukraine, of course, it's a key player in the Eastern Partnership project. For us, for Slovakia, it's our largest neighbor. It's the energy artery, and it's also the only neighboring country for Slovakia who is not an EU member. Therefore, we are fully in support for the signing of association agreement DCFTA with Ukraine, and we believe that it will be possible to achieve this in Vilnius. Ukraine could become a success story of the Eastern Partnership and the European Union CFSP. The meeting with Minister Kozhara yesterday was positive, and there are reasons to be optimistic. Ukrainians, government and the leadership are fulfilling the three conditions which were set forth in last December's Council conclusions, namely electoral legislation, the legislation regarding the judiciary and the prosecutors in particular, and selective justice. They know what needs to be done. They are ticking the boxes one by one. There are plenty of concrete steps that need to be done, but Minister Kozhara assured us that Ukrainian leadership will finish the program in time so that the European Union will have no problems to be united in supporting the signing of the association agreement and DCFTA. When this happens, this will be a very strong signal outside but also inside towards the Ukrainian society, and after that it will be important to activate the Ukrainian society, particularly the civil society, to help them with the implementation of these agreements. We know that the short-term impact of signing of DCFTA will be negative, but of course mid and long-term will then be strongly and visibly positive. But it's really important that we help countries to start implementing these agreements, not only Ukraine, but also then Moldova and Georgia when the time comes, which should be later next year, but definitely before the end of the next year. Another important aspect when we speak about the Vilnius summit is to guarantee that all 6 countries are present. Because, as I said, the progress has been uneven, but the fact is that Eastern Partnership remains to be a policy for 6 countries, and we continue working with Armenia, Belarus, and Azerbaijan, of course, as our Eastern partners. The recent decision of Armenia to join the customs union with Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Russia does not exclude Armenia from the Eastern Partnership project. We know that the signing of the association agreement with Armenia is off the agenda, is not possible, not because of political or strategic reasons, but simply because of technical reasons. These 2 agreements, the customs union and the CFTA, are simply not compatible. Nonetheless, we will continue our cooperation with Armenia. We want to have a legally binding document we signed with Armenia that will fix what has been already achieved, because you know that Armenia completed negotiations about the association agreement, DCFTA. So Armenia was ready to initiate. We want somehow to stabilize what has been agreed and what has been achieved. Azerbaijan is trying to define a new ways or means of its cooperation with the European Union. Azerbaijan is a specific country, and we are trying to, you know that Azerbaijan cannot sign the CFTA because they are not members of the WTO in the first place. We are positive and forthcoming, and we believe that we will be able to find a formula that will be mutually satisfactory. When it comes to Belarus, we expect Belarus to be present at the summit. Belarus, of course, borders the European Union. It's a European country, and despite the difficult conditions in that country, we will have to think about how to deal with Belarus better and more efficiently. We have to explain Belarus more than other countries that the Eastern Partnership Program is not the program against anyone, that it is a positive agenda, and it's not either-or program. So we really believe that Belarus could participate more actively. Of course, some conditions for that must be fulfilled. Important aspect of the Eastern Partnership Program is the liberalization of the visa regime. 3 out of 6 partners countries are currently working on the implementation of action plans for visa liberalization. We expect at the summit to close the action plan for visa liberalization with Moldova and to finish the first phase of the action plan with Ukraine. There is no need to explain in this country how important visa liberalization is, because this is something people understand, and that's something people see as a sign of seriousness of the European Union's approach to them. We have issued more than 2 million Schengen visas to the countries of the Eastern Partnership last year, more than half of it for the citizens of Ukraine. That means their citizens are interested in visiting Europe, in traveling, and being part of Europe. I should also mention the so-called frozen conflicts. We are aware, and we must not close our eyes before the fact that 4 out of 6 Eastern partner countries are facing the unsolved problems on their territories. And all these problems, or each of these problems, have their own history. There is a mechanism of dealing with this problem, a specific mechanism that has been internationally accepted. Nonetheless, I do believe that the European Union should have the ambition to play more visible, more active role in helping to solve these problems. We cannot develop comprehensive cooperation with these countries while pretending at the same time that we are not aware of existence of these problems. By having said that, I'm not suggesting that we shall replace Minsk Group or 5+2 or whatever format. No, but EU has its instruments, has its, of course, authority, has its mechanisms, and I believe we should be more active in offering what's at our disposal to help move the process of solving these problems forward. Obviously, the countries of the Eastern Partnership are important strategically, not only for the European Union, but also for Russia and for the Customs Union and for the future Eurasian Union. And when we follow the internal political discussion, including the media discussion in the Russian Federation and the signals Moscow is sending to our Eastern partners, that's a clear confirmation of my words. There is a perception that the competition of 2 integrational models at the post-Soviet territory, which are based on different standards, cannot not have geopolitical context. Let me stress once again that Eastern Partnership is not aimed against anyone, and it particularly not aimed against Russia. We, on the contrary, believe that Eastern Partnership could be a good platform for a closer cooperation between the European Union and the Russian Federation. We are aware of the fact that Eastern Partnership is not the only game in town. Armenia has chosen the Customs Union. We fully respect that. And as I said, it does not disqualify Armenia from future cooperation with the European Union. We don't want to see Eastern Partnership as a zero-sum game. It would be a very bad logic and very bad approach. So as soon as possible after the Vilnius summit, I'm strongly convinced we need to go back to the normal strategic partnership and cooperation with the Russian Federation. There should be no competition over these countries. They should have a free choice. These are sovereign, independent countries. If they decide to go customs union, Eurasian Union, it's their choice. We respect it. If they decide to sign association agreement, DCFTA, with us, it should be respected by Russia. I think that's the way these countries should be treated. Now, the question about what comes after Vilnius. Here I want to stress how important it is for us to have a very clear, forward-oriented summit declaration, which should be ambitious, which should mirror the ambitions of our partners. We must not become hostages of what is called previously agreed language, and that's what we hear from some member states. I mean, we are not meeting in Vilnius, we are not convening the third summit only to repeat what has already been said at the first or second summit. That would be very short-sighted and very unambitious from the European Union. We must not forget that Eastern Partnership is our joint project. That means the declaration should reflect the joint ownership and should also reflect the views and expectations of our partners. We must not forget that the Eastern Partnership is about values. It's a privileged partnership between the countries of the Eastern Partnership and the European Union. And it's not only about opening our economic, our common market. It's not about figures only, but it's also about forging the partnership which is based on the shared vision and shared values. Finally, a few words about Slovakia's contribution to this project. Of course, we are strong supporters of the Eastern Partnership project, which I think is quite clear to all of you who are following our foreign policy. The challenges our partners are facing and will be facing after initialing or signing the association agreements and DCFTA will be in many aspects similar to those challenges we were facing in our integration journey. So we are ready to share our experience and our know-how with our partners. You know that here at the Foreign and European Affairs Ministry, we have the Center for Transfer of Experience for the Transformation period set here, which is working closely with our partners, particularly in Moldova and in Ukraine. We have successfully exported our project, National Convention on European Union, and it's working in Moldova and in Ukraine, also thanks to the SFPA. And it has become a good export commodity from Slovakia. Let me also mention the activities of the International Visegrad Fund that has created or put together the program which is called Visegrad for Eastern Partnership, with annual budget of 1.5 million euro, and another 1.5 million euro comes from Netherlands. And this program offers a number of activities, including scholarships for Eastern Partnership countries. So these are probably the most visible activities from Slovakia. Following this project from the very beginning, and also after the discussion we had yesterday, let me say that I'm optimistic. I expect Vilnius summit to be a success, and I expect Eastern Partnership to be a successful and sustainable project also in the years to come. I can assure you that Slovakia will remain to be committed and active member of the European Union in this direction, and we will continue working also inside the European Union to get the necessary or support for this program and to help our partners to accommodate in the new realities. And once again, thank you for organizing this conference. I really hope it will generate new ideas that will be used also by our foreign service, by our diplomacy. And once again, thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.